Alright, kiddos. Next task that we gotta do is adding the player lives. This is a thing that's gonna be on the top left hand side of your screen, not on the top right. That's where you're supposed to put your score. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this thing started. I like to usually start my sessions by just pretty much closing everything. I feel that makes things run a bit smoothly. Alright, so first, we need to open up the level controller object. All the way down here. We're going to go to the create event. Now, we already set up our score, so of course we're going to put our stuff under here. So we're going to set our lives down here. What we're going to do is look for the set lives block. You can just look up that. Set lives, we're going to set it to 5. Now, the game knows that we have 5 lives. However, we don't have any way to tell the player that unless they die 4 times or 5 times. Let's see what we can do about that. We need to draw where the lives go. So, what we're going to do is open up the draw event. We're going to go to draw instance lives. We're going to drag that right underneath this one, the warp gate in value. We're going to set our sprite to be SPR player lives. Stack order, we're going to keep horizontal. In the game, asks us to put this somewhere specific. It says set the coordinates so it draws at the top left of the screen by bringing it 50 pixels from the left and 32 from the top. So we remember the score was a little bit weird and tough to add just because we had to mess with room width and all that sort of stuff. So it's a little bit easier this time. Now all we really need to do is set it so x equals 50, y is 32. Because we are going all the way from 0 to this part right here. Doing stuff from the left makes it a lot easier. Alright, up next, we need to make it so that we can actually lose these lives. So we're going to start by opening up OBJ Player. Don't know where this basic window came from, but we're going to need to go ahead and open up our collision with OBJ Bumble. So, first things first, we need to do a set lives block, because this is when we lose our life. So, what it tells us to do is we need to make it 1, put under the 2 destroy blocks, and 2, make it so it subtracts 1 from the player lives. So, first things first, -1, because we're saying we're setting our lives to -1. Now, at the moment, that's exactly what it says. So what we need to do to change that is click relative. That way it's going to -1 from every life that we have. Now of course, this isn't the last thing we need to do with this block. We need to make sure that this is set to our level controller. So, objects, level controller. This way we're still counting our lives on the level controller instead of anywhere else. This makes it a little bit cleaner to actually do stuff around here. Alright. Up next, we need to make it so the game knows when we're out of lives. So, we're going to start by dragging in an if lives block. We're going to drag that right under the set lives block. Now it tells us that we need to make it check if lives equals 0. Personally, for me, I think it's good programming to have it lives less than or equal to 0, just in case for whatever reason maybe you lost 2 lives at once and then you went to -1. It's just a programming thing that you should know for the future. Alright, up next, it wants us to drag an assign variable block to the if lives block. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, well, we're just going to drag this one right here, and then we're just going to leave it there. That's not what we do. It says to drag the existing assign variable block and clip it to the if lives block. What it means is this one right here, the obj level.gameover block. This is what it wants us to set. Now, of course, one thing we need to do is change if lives to be checking obj level controller. Again, that's what's checking our lives. We need to make sure we're doing that every time. And finally, we need to set it up for just in case we still have lives. So in case we had all 5 of our lives and we need to just basically respawn. So what I'm going to do is drag the else block underneath this. What it's basically saying is if lives are less than or equal to 0, we're doing this thing. Otherwise, if lives are basically anything else, we're doing this. And what this is going to be creating a new player. So we are creating an instance of obj player. Now, what it wants us to do is set it up so that it creates the player object in the middle of the room and 100 pixels off the bottom of the screen. Now, this is another one that uses those variables that we talked about that you guys are kind of struggling with at some points. It's okay. The more you guys use them, the more you guys are going to get used to using them and to be able to sort of recall them whenever you need. So let's start with the X. So, it's telling us that we need to make it so it's in the middle of the room. That one's pretty easy. All you need to do, room underscore width. This is basically going to be the leftmost side of our room divided by 2. Another way you could write that, just in case you want to keep everything to multiplication, is times 0.5. Gives you the same result no matter what. Personally, I like divided by 2. It's easier for middle schoolers to read. Now, up next it says we want it to be 100 pixels off of the bottom of the screen. So, we know that the bottom of the screen is room underscore height. So, at the moment, it's just going to put us right here all the way at the bottom of the screen, which is not what we want. We want to be just a bit above that. So, we're going to be at room height minus 100. That's going to put us somewhere in the ballpark of this area. And that's going to create our player instance. So let's see if I did everything correctly. Alright, so far so good. Let's die. Alright, our lives are counting down correctly, and we are actually popping down at the bottom of the screen. Let's try dying again. There we go. Great job. And our game over screen still works. Our score still works. Everything looks good. Alright kids, hopefully this helps you guys out on your game making journey. Good luck. Save often.